This recipe today we will be using fly agarics to make tom yum soup, tom yum muscaria. Now Amanita muscaria is the most well-known recognizable mushroom. It does contain neurotoxins. It is revered as toxic mushroom. It has isoxazoline derivatives, which are the muscimol, ibotenic acid, among other things, which people seek for these toxins. And there's about 200 plus other compounds we've discovered in this mushroom. But as for being toxic, those are the two toxins we are concerned with while making this recipe. So for the tom yum, our ingredients, we will be using the fly agarics. I have whole shrimp, lemongrass, cilantro, galangal root, scallions, lime, chili peppers, onions, tomato, brown sugar, kaffir lime leaves, and fish sauce. We will be using all these ingredients for the soup at different steps. Going into the mushrooms, with any mushroom we use for a recipe, we want to clean all the debris and make them edible. So by this, I'll do it over a sink, scrape off the base with my fingernail, rinse them off. And now here I'm reserving these small buttons on the side. These are the nice bug-free, hefty, firm buttons that we want for the body of the soup. All the muscaria that we collected that's older, we're going to set to dry. So we place all the older ones sliced on the dehydrator rack, and on the side you can see my clean buttons for the body. I've trimmed them in half for the soup. But back to the dehydration, we want to make sure they're crispy dry. After they're crispy, we take them out, crush them in your hand a little bit. I've done this in a bowl just so I don't make a mess, but then I want to add it to the pot of water, which I'm going to be bringing to a simmer and adding all this crushed mushroom in. Now this broth that we're making with these crushed mushrooms, this is what we want the psychoactive properties, which will cook out of the mushroom and dissolve into the liquid. We will be using the liquid. I don't like to boil it, I like to simmer it, so I keep it around 180. I wouldn't bring it over 200 degrees. And we're going to let this simmer for about 40 minutes. After the 40 minutes is done, we're going to grab a mesh strainer and we will strain the liquid into the soup pot that we will be cooking the remainder of the soup in. Now, this liquid is the psychoactive properties. The toxins we want are water soluble, so they're out of the mushroom pieces and now into the broth. So we'll put this on the side while we work with our whole mushrooms. Now, our whole fresh mushrooms, we don't want any toxins and we want to detoxify them completely. So what we're going to do is heat 2 pots of water to a boil. And we want a lot of water in this. We're going to add our mushrooms to the water. We're going to cook it for about 15 minutes. And then after that 15-minute cook, we want to strain them. We want to rinse them off. And then we want to go back to the second boil. And this is me straining and rinsing them off. So once these come out of the strainer and the liquid's gone, we put it in the second pot to boil. And then do the same thing. And then once they're strained the second time, we sear them in a pan. We really just want to seal them, take some of the liquid out, and make them nice and brown. And then once these are cooked, we're going to set these aside. And then we'll go back to our other ingredients. We have the chili pepper, the lime, the scallion, the cilantro, the kaffir lime leaves, the galangal, which is sliced, the onions, the tomatoes, and the lemongrass, all chopped up here. So the next few steps, we'll reserve the scallions on the side. We'll get back to that. And we're going to start with the galangal, lime, kaffir leaf, lemongrass, and chili peppers. We want to simmer this for about 20 minutes in that muscaria broth that we made. And then after that 20 minutes is gone, we want to add our shrimp right in. We'll simmer this for another 10 minutes while stirring. And then after that shrimp is cooked, we're going to finish the soup with the mushrooms, the tomato, and the onion, and we will also simmer it for another 10 minutes, kind of bringing all the flavors together. At the end, this is where we season for flavor with brown sugar and fish sauce. Everybody's taste is different. If you want it sweeter, if you want it more fish saucier, use your taste for that. Once everything is brought together, you want to serve it hot in a bowl, and we took those scallions and we just garnished the top to make it look pretty. That's my tom yum recipe using Amanita muscaria. I hope you enjoyed.